Okay, I'm going to make a video that shows how I shape the chines down after they've been installed. So at the moment, as you can see, where they go through the frames, they're square, and these frames need to come down as well. But they all need to be angled off, and I'm just going to show how I do that. Here's one that I've started to do already, so you can see roughly what it's going to end up looking like. So the first thing I do is I need to get the angle that comes down off of this frame and see where it's going to land down the edge of the chine. So the way I do that is just cut with a tenon saw through there until the blade is parallel with the back edge of the frame, because the front edge of the frame is going to end up slightly further in, so the back edge is going to be my marker. So I just make a cut with the saw until I'm parallel with that frame. And that's what you end up with if you put the saw in there. You can see that that line's now followed on through the chines, so by the time I've faired the chine down, that's where the angle for the bottom is going to end up being. So for now I'm just going to do one on the front as well, and then I'll chisel this little piece out the middle. So basically what that's done is just projected the line of the frame on through the chine. So we've got a reference point at the back here of where we need to end up. Right, so I've cut those in all the frames now down the boat. So you can see I've got a channel through each one. This one's a bit different because this is where the step is in the hull, which you can see in the middle there. But there's no step on the chine, so there's a slight difference in the two angles there. But the chine level should remain the same. And then it feathers out to pretty much nothing at the back. It transoms pretty much flat. So what that gives us is a reference at each of these points to come down to. I find if you just kind of attack this with a plane and try and get it somewhere handy, you just end up with a wavy chine. So the next thing is to make that into a line that runs the length of the boat, so we've got something to work down to. And I do that with a batten. Just line it up against the back edge of each of these channels, because as I said, the forward edge of those frames is going to come down eventually. So I just put a little clamp on that, hold it in place. And that gives us a line for where the outside edge of this chine needs to be taken down to. So I just draw that in with a pencil. And I've only got a short batten on this, so I've got to do it in 2 steps, but with a long one you could do the full length of the boat in one piece. So that's the line that you end up with. As you can see, that gives you a good reference to work to. And the beauty of it is you can look down it and make sure it's all where it should be and looks correct before you start work. So the next step after you've got your line is to start planing it down. And you want to keep this inside edge where it is, because as you can see that lines up with the frame in the correct position, and then you want to bring the outside edge down to this line here all the way along. So I'll start working that with the block plane and so I've started working that down, and you can see a bit of the angle coming. It's got to come right down to this line all the way along. One thing I find is when you're up above it, you can see the line fairly easily there, but as you start to bring this edge over, it wants to be right up against this edge. You can often lose sight of where you are. So a good little tip is just to pencil that line in. If you cover that surface in pencil, as you run the plane over, you can see that pencil line start to disappear, and when you're left with just a tiny strip of it, you know you're right over on this inside edge. So you can work that down till there's nothing, and if you work this line down at the same time, you should end up with a perfect line across the two. These channels that I cut here on the frames, they'll disappear eventually, and the whole chine will just come flush through that. So when you get down and you see that disappear, you know that you're on the right line then around the frame. Okay, so I've roughly planed this all the way along now, and it's pretty much getting to be the right shape. You see the angle on there which changes as you come forward. You can also see the pencil marks that I made. There's just a few little bits left of them now. It doesn't matter too much if you go over them, but when you see that disappear, you know that you're right over to this edge, so you probably don't want to take any more material off. And the original line that I drew, you can see that just in a few places. I've just done a bit more work planing down the chine and a few of the frames as well, and I thought I'd just do a shot to show what it's come out like. Also worked the stem down a bit more, because in the forward end you've kind of got to take everything down together, or else it starts getting in the way. So taking the keel down a bit more, and some of the first frame. There's a bit more work to do yet. You can see the cut line there that I need to get down to. So there's a bit more to come off, but that's pretty much the shape of it.